Ubiur ha'inyan yuvan. Al pi ma shekatuv. Ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan habira. So why is he called a Judean? Judean is only somebody that belongs to the tribe of Judah. It says, Ish Yehudi haya b'Shushan habira, that there was a Yehudi, a Judean, in Shushan habira, the city of Shushan. Ushmo Mordechai ben Yair, his name was Mordechai, the son of Yair. Ben Shimi, who was the son of Shimi. Ben Kish, who was the son of Kish. Ish Yemini. What is Ish Yemini? It means he belonged to the tribe of Benjamin. So, obvious question is, why does the Megillah call him Ish Yehudi, meaning belonging to the tribe of Judah, but in the end it ends up saying he belongs to the tribe of Benjamin. And it gives the entire his lineage, his father and his father, his father's father, his father's father, that they belong really to the tribe of Benjamin. So why does the Megillah say that he also belongs to the tribe of Judah? So the Alter Rebbe says, no. The reason the Megillah calls Mordechai Ish Yehudi, a Judean, a Yehudi, is for the collective essence of the meaning of the word Yehudi. What does Yehudi mean?
I'm grateful.
It means, it has two meanings, but they're really kind of the same thing. Two sides of the same coin. Yehudi literally means, one, gratitude. And the second one, it means acknowledgement. That you are acknowledging, or you can say you are acknowledging something that you're grateful for, or you are grateful for something that you acknowledge. However you want to look at it. But the point is, what is the essence of the meaning of the word Yehudi? Poorly translated to Jew. I don't know what Jew means. I'm a Yehudi, I'm not a Jew. What does Jew mean? I have no idea. Yehudi literally means that core mechanism of gratitude and acknowledgement. And what is the core acknowledgement? What is that thing that we acknowledge, which makes us different than everybody else?
We are chosen people with the responsibility to channel light. We
acknowledge that the source of all existence and reality is coming from this thing called Or Ein Sof. Or Ein Sof. That's what we acknowledge. When the whole world might say otherwise, that we acknowledge that all of reality is continuously being created and sustained by this thing called Or Ein Sof. And Or Ein Sof is not just kind of this like parv neutral energy. I can feel your energy. But that this energy is alive. It's conscious. It has a will. Go 4 lines down. V'lechen nikra Mordechai ish Yehudi. And so that is why the Megillah calls Mordechai ish Yehudi, because Mordechai represents something. He was not just the Jewish leader of the generation, but he represents something much, much greater. So, in this week's Parsha, where the Torah talks about a specific spice that needs to be used in the temple as part of the incense. For the Shemen HaMishcha, what is one of the spices that is used in the temple?
Murder.
What? Murder. More drawer. What is more?
Light.
More what? Like myrrh. What is more? So one of the spices used in the services of the temple, in the Shemen Mishcha, and also in the anointing oil, and also in the incense, was something called more. And the Targum explains, what the heck does more drawer mean? Mira dachia. Mira is myrrh, and dachia in Aramaic is pure. Pure myrrh. And mira dachia are the letters of Mordechai. Mordechai. So we see that Mordechai represents this spice, this perfume, and that's where he's mentioned in the Torah. Umor, and the Alter Rebbe continues. Umor zeh ledata Rambam. So it's the Rambam's opinion that what is this more? V'shar marfashimu, as opposed to other and other commentators that they agree. Musk. So they call it musk. Mushk. Shehu dam chaya. It is the blood of an animal. Yedu'a shenikre bechototrot shebatzavara. That there are glands in its neck. They extract the blood from the glands in its neck, and that they extract this sweat or this gland juice of this animal, and then they start to cook it, and it goes through this process, and what you're left with is the myrrh. And so now that we understand that the whole idea of more, this perfume comes from, and the blood of an animal is transformed into the perfume, now we can also understand a different argument amongst the rabbis. Sherabenu Yonah, that there was a great commentator, first generation, the Rishon of the Rabbeinu Yonah, Metiro Filu Be'achila. That Rabbeinu Yonah was one of the rabbis that said this more, it's even permitted to eat. And so the Alter Rebbe says, now what does this mean spiritually speaking? Umachloktam al pi chasidut. What does it mean according to Chassidus? Talui binyan aniskar beGemara beyoma. That it has to do with this inyan that's mentioned in the Gemara Masachet Yoma. Gabe tshuva. That we're talking about making tshuva. Im sdonot na'asu keshgagot o keschuyot. That there is a discussion in the Talmud that says when a person made a sin and they want to make tshuva, there's two different levels of tshuva. One level, the lower level, means that if you did the 3-step tshuva process, what is the 3-step tshuva process? Charata, vidui, Kabbalah la'atid. What is charata? Remorse. What is vidui? Confession. And Kabbalah la'atid means I promise not to do this again. I take it upon myself not to do the same mistake again. You did those 3 things, all of those sins just get wiped out. You literally just format the disk as if they never existed. That's one level. That's called sdonot nasuke shgagot. Shgagot. Shgagot means inadvertently. Shgaga. There's mazid and there's shogeg. Mazid means when it was advertent. Advertent? When it was with purpose. You did it on purpose. Shogeg means I made a mistake. I inadvertently, I didn't really mean to do that. So if you did a sin that was on purpose, but if you did 3-step tshuva process, then it gets demoted to a level of shogeg, meaning inadvertent, which basically means like it just gets wiped out. You didn't mean to do it.
It's not a mitzvah.
It's not a mitzvah, it just gets wiped out.
Yeah.
Just gets wiped out. That's the lower level of tshuva. But the Talmud says, but what happens when a person is so awakened that because of the spiritual wasteland and the darkness that he was in, because of the actions that he did, because of the transgressions and sins, that out of that darkness, out of that spiritual wasteland, he is now awakened with a new vitality, a new energy, a new motivation, enthusiasm, desire, and excitement to even want to come even closer to his creator, to come closer to the infinite light, to come closer, to learn Torah, to do more mitzvahs. Oh, then the story changes. Where did the motivation, where did the excitement come from? It actually came from the sin, because you were in this place of darkness and spiritual wasteland that you felt so far away. And where did that motivation now come from? Because of the sin, because you were so far away. Now the sin actually gets transformed into a mitzvah. The sin becomes a mitzvah. What does it depend on? The motivation. If I'm sorry what I did, I won't do it again. just gets wiped out. Gets wiped out, no problem. Your record's clear. Format. That's it. It's done. It's over. As if it never happened. But if you are not only just sorry for what you did, but now you are motivated and awakened to actually proactively engage at an even higher level, more intense level, then God's like, ooh, oh yeah. Why was he so motivated? Where did that excitement now come from? It came from the sin. Those sins became a mitzvah. Those sins became a mitzvah. That's called zdonot na'asu ke zchuyot. Zchuyot. It means that the sins have actually become merits now. Meaning that if a person gets up and they're on fire and they want to learn and they're motivated, tshuva mi ahava, that mamish now they just want to like dedicate their entire life to just experiencing the light of Hashem, then every single double bacon cheeseburger you ever had is elevated to mitzvah status.
Boom. Yofi.
Mitzvah status. And so your buddy who went to another yeshiva that they weren't learning Hasidus, and they're just like, you had 20 years of cheeseburgers. You have to do tshuva. He's like, and now what? And then Rabbi's like, you have been forgiven. God forgives you. Yes, thank you. And then you that do learn Hasidus, now you're learning about this stuff, and you're like, not only am I like sorry about what I did, but now I'm just like, bam! Now I'm on fire for Torah. Now I'm a Torah junkie. And you get to Shemayim, you get to heaven after 120 years, and both you guys are standing in line, and they're like you're opening up the files, and they open up your buddy's file, and they're like, wow, look, there's nothing here. Oh, good job. You didn't do anything wrong your whole life. And he's like, yes! And then they open up your file, and then there's like 20 jillion mitzvahs there, and your boy's like, what? How did he get those? Those were all the double bacon cheeseburgers. What? I ate cheeseburgers too!
You ate one!
Yeah.
You ate half.
But you just... That's all you did. But your boy, after he was finished crying, you know what he was like? Woo! Give me the Gemara! Yeah! And so now, those cheeseburgers get totally transformed into mitzvahs. And so you got every single cheeseburger you ever ate, extra bacon, now becomes a mitzvah. Ki shneim inyan echad, that these are both, we're talking about the same thing here. Shehu ma shehara ne'epach letov. And this is what we mean, that the bad has transformed into good. And so when you take that blood, when you take that desire, and you transform it into the desire and the craving now for kedusha, for holiness, for Torah, that's called taking the blood of the animal, and now you've turned it into perfume. You've taken it for something that was unholy, something that was even asur, it's forbidden. You cannot eat blood of an animal. And you've taken that thing and now you've transformed it into something holy. Now it is an ingredient that is used in the incense and the altar in the temple itself. It's gone through a total transformation. So how does that mean? Because that's really what the Torah is about. Why does it say that a person must get perfumed on Purim?
Purim, yeah.
That's exactly what he's talking about. But first he has to explain, what does that mean to get perfumed? What is perfume? What is perfume?
It's transformation.
Pure fruit means transformation. Taking the animalistic cravings and desires of the ego and transforming it into wanting, into desiring, into craving. And this is where it says in another place in the Gemara that the place where the Baal Tshuva is, that tzaddikim gmurim, they cannot attain this level, that the ultimate the ultimate tzaddikim, the masters, the Jewish Jedi masters, that have been completely in a state of mastery, they cannot even attain the level of someone that was deep in the abyss of sin, transgression, spiritual wasteland, and now they made that tshuva mi'ava. And so if that's Mordechai, total surrender and transformation and a channel for the light of the infinite, then the total opposite is Haman.
Boo.
If Mordechai represents total self nullification, total ego transformation and transcendence, then who is Haman? Just the opposite. Just the opposite. What is the opposite of nullification? What is the opposite of transcendence?
Yeshus.
What?
Yeshus.
Yeshus. What is Yeshus? Yeshut. It means total ego. Total self-centeredness. That's what Haman represents. והנה המן היה לעומת זה של בחינת זו דווקא, he was total opposite of this, כמו שאמר, למי יחפוץ המלך לעשות יקר יותר ממני. That there's so many instances in the Gemara, in the Megillah, that Haman really is reinforcing his own egotistical arrogance. Right? Where the king calls him that he needs to be called in for a special meeting, and Haman is like, the king is calling me? Oh! Right? And he even says, right? Ma lemich potza melech laso. Oh, sorry. And it's talking about when the king says that he wants to take a person and to put him on the horse and to dress him up in the royal garbs. And so Haman thinks he's speaking about him, that he wants to be praised, but he's really talking about Mordechai. But in his arrogance, Haman says, lemich potza melech laso yakar yoter mimeni. Oh, he's so full of himself. Total opposite of Mordechai. שהיה יש ודבר בעיניו ונפרד מאחדותו יתברך לומר אני ואפסי עוד. The essence of ego, the essence of Haman is all about me. If Mordechai represents total acknowledgement that the infinite light is the only source of power, then the total opposite is saying, no. I am the source of power. It's all about me. Ve'amalek hu gasut haruach vehu reshit lahem. That Amalek is reshit goim. It is the primary nation. It is the beginning of the nations. There are the 7 nations, but then there's the primary nation, which is Amalek. And Amalek, Reshit Goim, it is the beginning of the nations. That represents the essence of Gasut Ruach. Gasut Ruach means basically egocentric and selfish. Ki Gasut HaRuach, Hi Shoresh Kol HaMidot HaRa'ot. Ki Gasut HaRuach Hu Shoresh Kol HaMidot HaRa'ot. That Gasut HaRuach, that ego, self-centeredness, is the source and the root of all of the bad, negative emotional character traits. So why go after the little guys when you can go straight to the boss? Go straight to the boss and you'll take care of the little guys. Anybody in gardening? Instead of shooting always the weeds, right, get to the roots. If you don't take the roots out, then it'll just keep growing back. So you have a midah that you want to fix. You have something that you want to fix, some type of emotional desire or behavior, something like that. Go to the root. The root is Amalek. The root is ego. ולכן המן שהוא בחינת גסות להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד את כל היהודים שהם בחינת ביטול הפך היש לדבר גסות. And so this is why Haman wanted to destroy the Jewish people. Why? Because they represent the antithesis of ego. They represent total nullification, total surrender. No, it's not about me. There's only the infinite light. And so Haman must destroy that. It's a total it's a sore sight every time he sees a Jew, that it just reminds him that he's enslaved to his ego and self-centeredness. So that's why Haman needs to destroy the Jewish people. ואם היו כופרים חס ושלום לא היו עושים להם כלום. And that if they had just agreed to bow down before Haman, nothing would have happened to them. They totally it wasn't like they were not being exterminated, that nothing would happen to them. All they did was to agree to worshiping the idol. Ach kulam ke'echad lo עלה על דעתם מחשבת חוץ חס ושלום מסרו נפשם על אחדותו יתברך וזהו בחינת ביטול הנ"ל. And so, but the Alter Rebbe says that the Jewish people know they refused unanimously to bow down to Haman, to bow down, to acknowledge that Haman had an independent power. We refuse to give power to the ego and to say that you actually have some type of power. No, you are just darkness. And darkness is not something that exists by itself. All you have to do is flip on the light switch and the darkness goes bye-bye. Bye-bye, dark. Bye-bye, darky. וישנו בכוח בכל אחד מישראל. אפילו קל שבקלים יכול למסור נפשו בפועל ממש שלא להיפרד מאחדותו יתברך בשום אופן בעולם. And he says, one of the most essential traits of a Jew is the ability to sacrifice his life for this truth. To believe in the unity of Hashem, that there is nothing other than Hashem, is something that every single Jew, regardless of intellectual or level or anything, that every single person, core, has this ability to do mesiras nefesh, to sacrifice his life for the belief in the oneness and the unity of God. ומה שעובר שאר עבירות, היינו מפני הרוח שטות שמטעהו לחשוב שאינו נפרד מהקדוש ברוך הוא על ידי עבירה. כיוון שלובש ציצית ומניח תפילין. And he says, so how is it possible that a Jew is able to do a sin if he's willing to sacrifice his life for the unity of Hashem, meaning that he refuses to worship idols because that will break his connection with the unity of Hashem? No, there is only Hashem, Ein od milvado. So how come he's willing to sacrifice his life, but then he's still able to do like a little sin, transgression here and there? How's that possible? Because Alter Rebbe says, Ruach Shtut. Ruach Shtut means that like there is a spirit of folly, literally translated, but there is this kind of illusion in his mind that is creating this illusion that when he does a little transgression, that he's still connected to Hashem. He doesn't realize that at that moment, he's been totally disconnected from the light. That's called Ruach Shtut, that creates this illusion that even though he's doing a small minor avera, some minor transgression, he thinks he's still connected to Hashem. But if he really knew that even the smallest avera totally disconnects him from the light, he would rather sacrifice his life than doing even just the tiniest avera. So the reason he doesn't see that is because of the Ruach Shtut. It's the illusion that's created in his mind. והנה בחינת מסירות נפש נמשך מחמת אהבה המסותרת שהיא למעלה מן הדת. And where does this ability to self-sacrifice come from? It comes from this place called ahava hamesuteret, concealed love. Concealed love. That the essence of every single Jew deep down inside has something inside of them called ahava mesuteret, a concealed love. A concealed love that love has total loyalty and love for Hashem, but it's dormant, it's concealed. And so the conscious mind can create this illusion of ego and selfishness, and he can do different averas. But deep down inside, there is this place that is always connected to Hashem, and it's willing to sacrifice its life for that connection. And so sometimes that love gets awakened. Sometimes that gets awakened. Unfortunately, it usually gets awakened during times of incredible tragedy. Okay? Like, there are many stories of the Holocaust. People that were not particularly religious started every morning with bacon and eggs, but when they were held at gunpoint by the Nazi and they said, you eat this piece of bacon or we're going to kill you, they refused to eat it. They refuse to eat it. What?
You can't eat it.
It doesn't matter. Not when it's a public. No, it's a public. Even the smallest things becomes Yareg Val Yavor. That even though they would do this thing every single day, they didn't keep Shabbat, they didn't put on tefillin, nothing. They just finished bacon and eggs 20 minutes ago for breakfast, but now the Nazi's holding a gun to his head and saying, eat this piece of bacon or you're going to die.
Oh, you mean they weren't religious anyways?
They weren't religious.
They were still eating bacon.
They were still eating bacon. And they got a gun to their head and the man says, I refuse. Why? Because there was this place inside of them, so deep, so essential, such a core place called Ahava HaMesuteret, the concealed love, that when it gets awakened, a person is willing to sacrifice his life and not do anything against the Shem. It makes no logical sense. It's above logic. It transcends logic. Me'al tam v'dat. So he says, why do you love your life? You love Hashem because you love your life. And so you want to stay alive. But what is that part of Hashem that is giving you life? It is only from the Mimale Kol Almin and the Sovev Kol Almin. We talked about this before. The immanent light and the transcendent light, they are only emanations from Hashem. They are emanations from the infinite light itself. But they are not the infinite light. The energy that is powering all of creation at every single moment, the energy that is the fuel that is projecting this reality into existence at every moment, is Mimale Kol Almin and the Sovev Kol Almin, which are just emanations of the infinite light. It is not the infinite light itself. And so my life, the energy that I have, is only coming from an emanation of Hashem, but not from the infinite light itself. And the infinite light itself, though, hold on, he says, Ki lo ze hi ikar ha'elokut, ma she'ha'olamot mitavim imenu mekablim chiyutam imenu yitbarach. But that is not the ikar, that is not the main essence of the infinite light. The emanations, this world, this reality is not the essence of what it is. It's just an emanation of Hashem's light. Aval ha'mesirut nefesh. But the love that comes out of self-sacrifice, sacrificing your life, no. Lashlich Chayav mineged, to cast his life aside, nimshach shelo lipared mimauto v'atzmuto yitbarach shu lemala michaya chayim v'kame kelo mamash chashiv v'ata ukodem shenivra. But the desire to sacrifice your life, where does that come from? It comes from the Jews' essential desire not to be disconnected from the atzmus of Hashem, from the essence, from the atzmut or Ein Sof. We're connected to the atzmut or Ein Sof, but the energy that is giving me life, that's coming from a lower level, from an emanation. And so to not want to be disconnected, do that, I'm willing to sacrifice my life so I'm not disconnected from the essence of Hashem, from the infinite light itself. Not just an emanation. That every single Jew has the koach, the ability. Skipping the parentheses, 2 lines down. ולכן היה אז מסירות נפש בפועל ממש אצל כל ישראל שלא להיפרד מאחדותו יתברך. And so in Shushan, the story of Purim, the Jewish people collectively, that love was awakened. That essential love was awakened, and they were able to sacrifice their lives to not be disconnected from the essence, the unity of the oneness of the Or Ein Sof itself. And so Mesiras Nefesh, to be able to activate that place, goes beyond all logic and reason. If Hashem is your life, and you love Hashem, that you should want to do everything in your power to keep being alive. Right? If you love Hashem, it means you love your life because He is your life. So you're going to want to do everything you can to continue to live. So eat the bacon. What's the problem? Keep being alive. And then Hashem, well, you'll still be connected to Hashem. No, it's just an emanation from Hashem. It's not Hashem Himself. But I refuse to be disconnected from the essence of the infinite light itself. The only way to show that is by sacrificing your life. And that goes beyond all the logic. V'zeu ve'et ma'ama Mordechai, ki Mordechai hayam mekor habitul ish Yehudi, that Mordechai was the essence of this nullification. V'zeu ve'kibel Yehudim et asher echelu la'asot. This is the meaning of that the Jews took upon themselves to do what they began to do in Mount Sinai. Shebimatan Torah shekdimunas al nishma, that in Mount Sinai when they said we will do and then we will learn, then we will understand. V'akol dibur parcha nishmatam, that when every time God spoke, that out of the 10 commandments, each of those commandments, their mamish soul just left their body because it was just too intense. Shu b'chinat bitul u'mesirut nefesh That what does it mean that their souls left their body? Is they mamish sacrificed their life when they were revealed the essence of the infinite light on Mount Sinai, not just an emanation, but the essence of the infinite light itself. They're like, whoa, we're going that. Even to the point where it means sacrificing your life. And this was also in the days of Achashverosh and Shushan, story of Purim, habitul hazeh. Beyeter set, and it was even stronger in the story of Purim than it was in Mount Sinai. Ki b'matan Torah haya bitul zeh michamat koach ha'itoruta dele'ela. It was even stronger in Purim. Why? Because in Mount Sinai, it wasn't fair. It was triggered by who? It was triggered by Hashem. Hashem triggered that love because He revealed His love for us, and that opened up our love. And so, of course, we're going to sacrifice because we're revealing. Hashem revealed His love, and so we revealed our love. But it's called itoruta de la'ela. It was an awakening from above, meaning it was not really out of free choice. But in the days of Purim, it came totally from themselves. It came from below. It came from their desire to say, no, I refuse to be disconnected from the essence of the infinite light, that unity, and so I would rather give up my life than disconnect myself from Hashem's unity. That's what's called an awakening from below. התעוררות דלתתא. תחילה, ולכן גם ההמשכה שנמשך על ידי זה הוא מקום עליון יותר, עד שהגילוי שבמתן תורה נקרא רק החלו את התחלה לגבי אור ההמשכה שנמשך להם בפורים שנקרא בקיבל, שזהו הגמר וזהו וקיבל היהודים וכו'. And so it says, because it came from an awakening from below, that when a Jew initiates this awakening from below and makes a decision, says, I refuse to disconnect myself from the essence of the Or Ein Sof, I'm willing to give up my life. What that does is that triggers now, remember, Kemayim Panim Lapanim, just like a person's face is reflected in the water. In Mount Sinai, what happened? Hashem opened His love, and so then that opened our hearts. It was reflected in our hearts. But now in the story of Purim, who initiated it? We did. And we opened our hearts at that level of Mesiras Nefesh, going beyond logic, that we refused to be disconnected from Hashem. That love was awakened so much. And that initiated the awakening from below. And then that's what initiated now Hashem's love. Because if I open my heart to Hashem, Hashem opens His heart. And that love was even greater than on Mount Sinai. That when the love comes from us, when the love comes from below, that creates an even greater awakening from Hashem's part. And so the itoruta dilatata tchila, when there's an awakening from below, it causes an infinitely greater awakening from above. Ve'al pi ze yuvan. So now we can come full circle after we've learned all of these different ideas. Ve'al pi ze yuvan ma she'amru rabotenu zal chayav inish lebesumi beparaya ad delo yada. Now we can finally understand what do the sages mean when they say that a person must get perfumed until they reach the place of ad delo yada, until they do not know, until they cannot know, until there's no das. Shesimchat Purim atzuma v'yetera mi'asimcha shebeyom tov. That the simcha of Purim exceeds, totally destroys the simcha of Yom Tov. It's totally beyond. Ki hine al kol Yom Tov ktuv ranenu tzadikim behavaya. That on the Yom Tov it says ranenu tzadikim behavaya. That you should be joyful. Ranenu tzadikim, that you should sing to Hashem. Said you should sing that King David is saying that the tzadikim should sing to who? To Havaya. To Havaya. Very important. That's why it says Ranenu tzadikim behavaya. Yud and He and Vav and He.
What's Havaya?
Havaya is the essential four-letter name that represents the Seder Ishtalshelus, the entire kind of system of creative forces. Ranenu tzadikim behavaya ukmo ukam vor bazor truma Dilkach omrim mizmor ze b'shabbatot v'yamim tovim. We say that in the beginning of the Shachar's prayers. Rananu tzadikim b'avaya. It's part of one of the Tehillim that we read. V'hineh havaya. Here's another meditation for you. There you go. V'hineh havaya yurnein vavenehu b'chinat ishtalshelut ha'olamot. That havaya represents the system, the structure of creative forces. The 10 spheras, the 4 worlds, the whole kit and caboodle. That's what Havaya represents, Seder Ishtalshelus, meaning the chain of creative evolution. Yeah, something like that. Shemamshichim tosefet or v'gilui milemala mi'ishtalshelut beseder ishtalshelut. That what is the essence of a Yom Tov, a Shabbat or a holiday? What are we doing there? We are essentially downloading new energy from Ein Sof into the Ishtalshel, into the reality, into the system of creation. And this light that is being downloaded now into the world, being added, additional light into the world, additional consciousness, additional vitality, that now that energy can be converted into new ways, better ways. But it's still limited. It is still quantified. It is still just within measure, which is why the simcha that we have on the Yom Tov is also a limited simcha. What is the minimum requirement of simcha that a person has to have on Yom Tov?
Gvul.
The gvul, the boundary of the simcha, meaning like the minimum. You did this, and you fulfilled the obligation for simcha on a holiday, on a festival.
Yes.
What is it? It is eating a kazait of meat and a revit of yain, of wine. Kazait of meat. What is kazait? Like 28 grams, and 44 milliliters. Sorry, revit. A revit is 86 milliliters of wine. You drink 86 milliliters of wine, and you ate 28 grams of meat. Congratulations. You can go to sleep, you're happy, that's it, that's enough. You fulfilled the mitzvah of being happy on a holiday. You want to do more, you can do more, but that's all you need, and you fulfilled the mitzvah. Because the whole idea of the holiday is that you're drawing in this light, but it's limited. And so also the simcha that we have on the holiday is limited. But on Purim, there is no limits. There is no limits. You cannot just drink a revi'it yain and say, that's it, I fulfilled the mitzvah of Purim. No. Because Purim is going beyond the ishtalshelut. You're not bringing in light into Seder ishtalshelut. You are mamish transcending the entire ishtalshelut, and you are mamish now merging and unifying with the Ein Sof itself, where there is no limit. Where there is no limit. Ad de lo yada, until you do not know. Ad de lo yada, because das means limitations. Das means I drank a cup of wine, I had a couple of bites of meat, I'm done. No, but in the Ein Sof there is no limitations. It's beyond limitations. That why did we merit on Purim to be able to have this ability to access the Ein Sof? It is because of the Mesiras Nefesh that the Jewish people had in Shushan. It is because there was an awakening from below that we said we would rather give up our lives than be disconnected from Ein Sof. That was totally initiated from themselves from below. There was no miracles, there was no revelations. No fireworks and crazy things going on there. Just a regular political drama, and they initiated this Mesiras Nefesh. Because of this awakening from below, Higiu lemala mala be'atzmut or Ein Sof. That because of this initiation of the awakening from below, sacrificing their life for Hashem, that they were able to access the mamish, the atzmut of Or Ein Sof itself, the infinite light, not just an emanation. And so therefore also the simcha, the joy on Purim, transcends all logic and all boundaries, because logic connotes what's the word? Logic means limitation, boundaries. And so here we are to transcend logic, no boundaries. V'hainu ad delo yada ben arur Haman lebaruch Mordechai, that you must transcend the even place of cursed is Haman, blessed is Mordechai. Why? Because cursed and blessed is only within the realm of reality, where there's good or bad, yes or no, black or white. But those are only emanations of the infinite light. But beyond that, the essence of the infinite light itself, the essence of the infinite light itself, כי בהתגלות נגלות הערות עצמותו יתברך, כולם שווים ממש וכחשיכה, כאורל, כמו שכתוב גם חושך לא יחשיך. But in Ein Sof, there is no Haman, there is no Mordechai. It's all one. It's all one. It's all one. Omnam le'inyan isur asiyat melacha, and that also explains why on a Yom Tov we're forbidden from doing labor. You can't plow the field, you can't pick a fruit off the tree, you can't write in your journal, you can't turn on the light, you don't do these things. Why not? On Purim you can. Why don't you do this on Yom Tov? Hu dafka be Yom Tov isur, that the labor is forbidden on Yom Tov, but not on Purim. Shabbat and Yom Tov, even though there is an elevation that the lower worlds are elevating to the higher spiritual worlds, but they are still limited within the boundaries of reality. וכל זה אינו אלא בסדר השתלשלות דשייך שם מדרגת מעלה ומטה רוחניים. And so the whole idea of a Shabbat or a Yom Tov is that it's one level ascending to a higher level. But we're still talking about levels. We're still talking about different dimensions, spiritual light, but it's still within this reality of levels. Just one is more spiritual than the lower one, but it's still depending on levels, and that's why we don't do work. Aval be'atzmuto mahuto itbarach, but in the atzmut, the mahut, the essence of the Ein Sof, she'eno begeder al min klal. Ein shayach klal b'chinat shvita, that there is no relevance of stopping labor, because labor means shifting from one level to another, transforming something into something else. But in the level of Ein Sof, it doesn't apply. There's no relevance. It doesn't matter. Do work, don't do work. There's nothing but Ein Sof. שהוא עליות המדרגות שהרי מעלה ומטה שווים אצלו לגמרי, שהעשייה, גשמיות עם חוכמה הילאה, שניהם שווים ממש כלא חשיבה. That in Ein Sof it doesn't matter. There is no work, don't work. There are none of these separations and classifications and categories. There's no Shabbat, there's no Yom Tov. There's only Ein Sof. And all of these things, even the most mundane matter, is equal just as the highest, most refined spiritual light. In Ein Sof, they're both the same. Ve'lechen gabei Shabbat ne'emar Shabbat lehavaya. And that's why the Torah says that Shabbat, who is Shabbat for? Shabbat lehavaya. Havaya, remember, we're talking about Hashem's light, but it's just the emanation of Hashem's light. וכנ"ל בעניין רעננות צדיקים בהוויה, ולכן בפורים מותר בעשיית מלאכה. And that's why on Purim we are allowed to do work. Why? Because it's so high. It's not even so high. It's atzmut or Ein Sof. It's the essence of the infinite light, and their work, no work, it's the same. It doesn't matter. And so the whole essence of Purim is kind of allowing us to enter into this space that transcends reality completely. We are literally in a state of total absorption in the infinite light itself, Atzmut or Ein Sof, where there is no limitations, where there is no boundaries, and so therefore the Simcha has no limitations, it has no boundaries, and therefore there is no rules about you can't do this, you can do this. No. It's just a day where a person is able to just bask in or Ein Sof, infinite light itself. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen.